I hated that first experience of the internet. I couldn't imagine why anyone would go online to find information. Cut to almost 20 years later, and like most people, I'm Googling stuff and scrolling through search results countless times a day, effortlessly switching between screen sizes, depending on whether I am using my phone, tablet, laptop, or desktop. The process of browsing the internet is so second nature to me that I can have a conversation and watch TV at the same time as surfing the net. So can most people I know. The difference in how we all operate in our lives between now and less than 20 years ago is phenomenal. I hardly dare imagine where we will be 20 years from now. Shortly after my experience of trying to use the internet to find information for my media studies class, I found myself working for a company called Touch Communications. I was 18 years old. I had to cold call people and then try to sell them domain names for £350. I would call up some phone company in Manchester and say, "Hello, I'm calling to offer you the domain name manchesterphones.com for a great price today." When they asked why they should buy it, when they didn't do any business on the internet, my pre-prepared script told me to assure them that in a few years, everyone would have their businesses online, and that the best domain names would get the most customers, and that people would be shopping online more than in shops. The irony was that I didn't actually believe a word of it myself. But I still sold a lot of domain names because, as I quickly discovered, I was a natural salesman. I am one of those people who can sell ice to Eskimos, as the saying goes. I didn't need to believe that those customers needed those domains. I simply had to make them believe it. "If you don't buy it, your competitor will," was one of the most effective lines I used. Back in those days, people had a fair point when they argued that no one would ever go online when they could simply walk into a shop or pick up the phone. The internet was slow and unreliable. We weren't even using broadband at that point. We only had dial-up connection. These days, fiber optic cables ensure that information is at our fingertips in the blink of an eye. When our connection slows down, we all get extremely frustrated. In 10 years, everyone's going to be online. Everyone's going to be using the internet to do their business, socialize, and shop, I would say, without believing a word of it. Knowing what I know now, I obviously wish I'd bought up all those domain names myself. I'd have made a killing. From a northern town. I was born and raised in Colne, a small town in Yorkshire, England, where my Hong Kong-born parents owned and ran, with the help of extended family members, the local Chinese takeaway. Growing up in the north of England in the 1980s, when I was literally the only Chinese kid in the school, was tough at times. I got teased and bullied for my ethnicity in a way that is completely unacceptable these days, but was sort of tolerated by general British society back then. My family also received a fair amount of abuse from racist people within the local community. But my parents never let it stop them working hard at their business, and they instilled a strong work ethic in me. During my childhood, watching my family work long hours to keep the business going, I was resentful that I hardly saw my parents. But as I got older, I began to appreciate the sacrifices they'd made for me. They were very proud of the Chinese takeaway business that they built, and they expected my older brother and me to take over the family business when we left school, as was common in our culture. But I had other plans. As soon as I was old enough, and even before that, I worked hard at whatever I could find in order to make pocket money, at first, and then money to support myself through college. At one point, I remember, I was working in 3 different jobs at the same time. As well as selling those domain names in the telesales job that I mentioned earlier, I was also working in a shoe shop at weekends and doing regular evening.